All right, my friends, welcome to Prof and Dev Play Games, episode 77. This is the Professor Larry with you, and over there is Anthony.
The Dev.
How you doing, Anthony?
Pretty good.
Haven't seen you in a long time.
No, in person, in the same room.
Yeah, we are in the same room. We have been playing a lot of games, so because we're together, we're going to kind of jettison the normal format, and we're just going to have a discussion about Breath of the Wild, which is a game we're both playing a lot of, and Anthony got his first chance to play it now. This weekend, basically.
Yeah, yesterday evening.
So you're playing on the Wii U.
Yep.
I'm playing on the Switch. We're playing in the same room.
You can say you have the handheld Switch in front of you when I'm playing on the Wii U on the TV, and you can basically say that it is completely looks exactly the same.
It does. I think that there are some frame rate issues with the Wii U, especially when you were in Kakariko Village. I think
there's a couple angles in Kakariko where clearly there's just a lot of characters on screen and particles and lighting that it had some slowdown at certain angles.
Yeah, and especially when you spun around in a circle, I feel like
and it was a specific spot. Every time it hit this specific chunk of the map, the city, town, it just chugged, and then once that got off the screen, it was fine.
So in terms of those hitches, has that impacted your experience playing the game at all? Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You just notice it every once in a while, but it's not like the game's unresponsive.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, you haven't had that left Joy-Con desync issue where the Link just spins around in circles because you're playing with the Wii U Pro Controller, which you hate.
I do. I hate that thing.
A lot of people love that controller, so why do you hate that controller?
I don't like the the face button placement to the right stick.
Uh-huh.
There's something messing me up where because you're using the right stick to control camera all the time, and I'll have my hand on that a lot, and then my natural instinct is I just don't go far enough from it to hit Y. I hit X.
Right. So you start sprinting in both.
And then when I'm trying to pull my weapon and fight, and I'm I'm spamming the button, I'm like, oh, I need to. It's retraining myself. I realize I've been playing on a DualShock 4 for the most part for years now.
Yeah, right.
That's the controller that I've adapted to.
Even though you have the Xbox 360 for the PC, don't you?
Yeah, I do, but I don't use it on the PC nearly as much.
Okay.
Every once in a while, there's a game.
You're usually doing mouse and keyboard.
Witcher 3, I was using it.
Uh-huh. But even for game testing or all the stuff you do is mouse and keyboard.
The one I'm working on now is all mouse and keyboard. So it's rare, and even then, you gave me the Switch Pro Controller.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'd totally play with the Switch Pro Controller.
Yeah.
Just because it feels like an Xbox controller. The offset sticks and the way the face buttons are, it comes way more natural. For some reason.
Yeah, it's interesting because we're grabbing the controllers right now.
Yeah.
The buttons, these look like big aspirin tablets.
They're much bigger.
They're bigger,
but that layout is something I've become accustomed to with the buttons up from. This, I'm not accustomed to.
Yeah, having it down.
Going down, because the DualShock 4 is always
below
up.
Yeah. Well, this is the only controller that has them both above.
Yeah.
Right? Because the DualShock 4 is down here, D-pad's over here.
Below face buttons and D-pad.
Right.
So I think that's actually what throws me off more than anything is muscle memory on where buttons are from the right stick.
I think it's interesting that they decided to copy the 360 controller. Why wouldn't they copy the DS4, considering they're both Japanese companies? This is more standard, I guess? I don't know.
Preference. I mean, I know some people that really like offset sticks.
Yeah.
That hate DualShocks because they don't have offset sticks. So
when they made that new DualShock 4 that has the offset sticks, but it's only wired, and it was only. I don't know if it's been released in the US yet.
So.
Whoops! I just turned on the Switch. That's fine. But this is heavier too. Like the Wii U,
quite a bit heavier.
The Wii U controller is quite a bit lighter.
Yeah.
And I always loved the Wii U controller, but after playing with the Switch controller is definitely better.
Switch Pro would probably be one that I would. People want one because it works on PC.
Right.
I would recommend probably getting a Switch Pro controller over
over a DualShock 4.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess because the DualShock 4, you have to kind of
you have to do some trickery.
Either Steam
this is just
or
naturally
that just naturally works. Yeah, that's right. So, kind of want to get your impressions before we get into mine about your first 5-6 hours of the game. We started playing last night. He's got about 6 hours in. So, there's going to be a little bit of spoilers for the first 6 hours. So, if you haven't played Zelda at all and you don't want to hear any spoilers, I mean, maybe this isn't the episode for you. Maybe come back for episode 78. But we're going to talk about what we've experienced at least for the first 6 hours or so, because stuff that I've experienced, I'll talk generally about, but Anthony hasn't got there yet. So, so just run us through like what you did, what you liked, everything.
All right, so I enjoyed that it opens with no cutscene, really, anything. It's just boom. You wake up as Link. You have no clue what's going on. Link has no clue what's going on. So it's a nice setup from that standpoint of, okay, get out of this little room that you're in, which teaches you how to climb open chests and basic interactions with the environment. And then you get out and you get an amazing grand view. Actually, it reminded me of coming out of the vault in Fallout 3.
Oh, okay.
That, like...
Oh, yeah, because you're on top of the mountain.
Kind of on top of the mountain that overlooks... You see the next places you're supposed to go. Like, it had...
Right.
When they said that they've looked at other open world games, I'm almost certain they looked at that moment of like, okay, when they get out of the opening area, give them a vast view of the environment, and like where you can pick, oh, okay, where do I want to go? Like,
well, I'm looking forward to. I think you're right in the comparison to Fallout 3 there, and there's a really heavy-handed, it's not super heavy-handed, but there's a huge call out to Fallout 4. In Hatno Village that you haven't found yet.
Oh, interesting. That's crazy.
I think you should find, because I think it'll intensify the fact that they did look at Bethesda games. They looked at Skyrim. They have to. Yeah. They looked at The Witcher. I mean, there's like a notice board in a bunch of the cities where you like pull a job off of, basically. Yeah.
This. So my impressions there came out of there, and then it's not handholdy. Like, it's just like you walk down the path, like the only path you can go on. Hey, there's something on the ground to pick up.
Right.
Okay, you picked up a branch. You can use that as a weapon. Okay. Climb this. Oh, you can climb a tree. You get an apple. Okay. Like, it just puts down, like, a little bit of breadcrumbs here and there and just lets you, the player, just start picking things up and interacting and not just saying... Putting prompts on the screen, go pick up this, go pick up that. Okay, next thing you need to do is go do that. Like, it respects the player's intelligence, but is also done in a way that seems natural. Like, clearly they spent an insane amount of time iterating that first, like, probably 15-minute experience of, like...
Yeah, absolutely.
And to a detail, I'm pretty sure, of, like, this item can move it, like, 10 feet closer to the entrance. Like...
Yeah, and I think when you come out and you see the contrast of the mushrooms, like when you first came out, once it finally released you from the vantage point, you just ran toward the mushrooms because there's that huge, like, red things on the ground that just draw your attention immediately, and you kind of pull forward.
There, talk to the first guy. You can be a jerk. I chose to be jerk Link.
Oh my God,
on every option that I could do.
Well, I was like totally nice, and you were just like, "Shut up! Give me my paraglider.
Give me the glider." But at that point, I mean, honestly, everyone talks like it doesn't have a tutorial, but the game does have a tutorial.
It's the whole plateau, right?
The whole plateau is a tutorial.
Yeah.
But it's not guided as much. It's semi-focused. You're on the plateau. You can't get down until you have a paraglider. You will die if you jump off this thing.
Right. And you don't have the stamina to crawl down either.
No. So they trap you to this pretty largish area at the beginning, and they're just like, all right, here are 4 things I want you to do. Okay.
Well, he starts by saying, here's one thing I want you to do.
One thing, and then 3 more things, and then another thing, and I continued to be a jerk the whole time, because it was really annoying, but not in a bad way. It was
give me the paraglider.
Like, just give me the paraglider.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, it's like that whole opening area was really well done. It kept me engaged for being a somewhat subset of the overall game. Because it gives you all the powers you need. By the time you're done with even before the paraglider, you now have the skills you're going to use for the entire game.
Right.
You have your stasis, you have magnetism, freezing,
the
ground, and your bombs.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure you can solve almost the entire game. Like, good chunks of the game come back to those basic things, manipulating things with those powers.
Yeah, people have beaten the game without ever going to a dungeon. Like, you don't need the dungeon powers to beat the game, apparently. It just makes you easier. A badass, Yeah,
I mean, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
But, so, the game, this is where I said this game does that so much better than Witcher 3's opening area.
Yeah.
Because the Witcher 3 opening, I bounced off
Right.
the first time. Bounced off hard. It was
Yeah.
like, okay, I don't.
Yeah.
Witcher 3 gets so much better once you get out of that
Yeah.
like
Right.
opening tutorial area.
Well, and I remember when we talked about that before, you played White Orchard like I didn't. You tried to do everything.
I did, because I thought that's what the game wanted me to.
Yeah.
But it's like,
And I did the Griffin as soon as possible and got out of there. Because I think if I'd done it, well, I'm doing it again, the Witcher Wednesdays thing, which took a dive since Zelda came out. But
Yeah.
I did everything.
It's
think
slow.
If I would have done everything, it would have been a lot slower.
it's slow, it's kind of boring. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't show the strengths of that game. If
Right.
it gets bogged down in...
Right. But Zelda does. Like, I think the strengths of the game are immediate. So, of those 4 opening dungeons, like, what stands out to you? Like, any of those?
They were... Actually, what stood out to me was just how quick they were.
Uh-huh.
But not in a bad way. Like, get in, look around. Each one, you get in, you just kind of look around. And you're
Yeah.
like, okay,
This is the whole room.
this is it. Like,
Yeah.
I just got to figure out how to do what I'm going to do in here. And it kind of somewhat teaches you the powers. You're like, you don't have it, but puzzles are set up in a way that are kind of training you to think about how you would use these different powers to...
Yeah, and even before you get in the shrine, right? Like, there was the Magnesis shrine where you saw that you needed a magnet to pull things out of the water, and you did.
Yeah, there's like stuff around the outside. Like, it's really well designed.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is where I'm just like, the amount of iteration that they did on each of these places is absurd. Like, just some basic Nintendo principles, like whenever you hear Miyamoto talk about Mario games on how they reinforce like concepts and like to mastery, I'm like, I see those lessons applied directly in this game,
Right.
all over the place. Where you're like hot peppers to get into,
Right.
which is there,
Yeah.
but it's reinforced. They're like, this thing, like they put things near in really clear sight of you and make you go, oh, this thing's happening. Oh, but there's this red thing that contrasts right here that I can pick. It's a hot pepper.
Yeah.
Oh, read the description. You can cook it.
Yep.
Okay. Like, it's well thought out.
Right.
Like, they're not letting go, like, figure it all out for yourself. They're very much like, we will give you all the clues you need. Like, it is clear as day.
Yeah, there's the environment just tells you everything you need to know. There was when I was going to the first boss down in Gerudo Desert, or the dungeon or whatever. I got close to the dungeon and something happened and I died and I did it and I died again and I did it again and I died again and I did it again and I died again. And the game was telling me, hey, dumbass, you can't do this right now. Go figure something else out. And then it redirected me and then I went and did it. So it's the grammar of the game is just so clear.
It is. Like, and that's not something that's quick to create.
No. I mean, they delayed this game, 3 times? It was supposed to come out in 15, maybe?
I never knew when they actually announced any dates. If they were very...
Well, they
I
gave
thought
the
they
year.
were cagey for so long.
They gave the year on one of those. I don't remember which one it was, but it was like 2015 or 2016, one of the two.
I can't imagine. I'm pretty sure this game saw insane amounts of polish in the past year.
Yeah.
Like, that's... Like, they got systems in place probably like a year and a half ago, like fully in place. And then it's just been... Is this good enough? Is this good enough? Do people understand this? Do people... Nope. Again. Nope. Again. Like...
Well, in the podcast, I know that I told you this, but for the listeners, Aonuma, basically, the whole team, every couple of months or whatever, they give them the whole build of the game and give them 2 weeks off and say, go home, play this game for 2 weeks, start to finish, come back with notes, and then we'll polish again. So I wonder, a question for you, if this game was done a year ago, and they knew, okay, Switch is going to launch in a year, we're going to hold it for the Switch for a year, you just spend that year polishing, right?
Yeah.
That's, I mean...
Or fine, and polish at that point can actually be a little bit grander, because they can be like, oh, the map isn't working out in this area well. Like, what can we add in these areas to give more things to do?
Right.
Like, so it's beyond polish. It's probably not new gameplay systems, but mostly like iterate the map over and over, because it's clear that the map has been iterated on.
Well, and it's interesting that earlier you talked about, be on the plateau and it's this huge area, and once you get up the plateau and start unlocking a couple of towers, you realize that the plateau part you start off is like by far the smallest part of the map.
It's like a couple percent of the overall map.
Yeah.
It's tiny.
And there's stuff I didn't
But you
even
still
do.
come back over there. I use it as a very...
Yeah, to come back to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense because it's central, right? So you can like explore northeast and then warp back and then go southwest. That's what I did to get to that first dungeon.
So beyond that, I think... So yes, I do believe this game deserves all the praise that it's been getting. Like, sure, there's going to be contrarians out there, but this is an amazingly well put together game. It's easy to play. The friction of just playing it is really low. Even dying is really low.
Right.
Like, I've died a number of times, and it was stupid, and it's my fault.
Right.
But immediately went back in and was like, okay, let's go again. Like, it's not frustrating. I'm not like, I'm done, I'm going to rage quit this. It's like, not at all. Like,
and the load times on the Wii aren't really that bad.
No.
They're pretty close to the Switch as far as I'm concerned.
None of the loading has been... I haven't even noticed it being long.
Yeah, right.
It's not as long as Horizon.
Right. Yeah, that takes...
Horizon's initial load takes a while, and then if you do big fast travel on Horizon, it also takes a long time.
Right.
So, fast travel in Zelda does not take that long. What else has been really... I was iffy on the weapon system going in, knowing that weapons were going to degrade. I'm like, that's an annoying system in a lot of games, and I don't care about it here.
Yeah.
I'm like, yep, just give me the weapons. They break, don't care. But there's so many around.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you think it's okay because they just keep throwing weapons at you?
Yeah, basically. Like, you don't need to be like... It's not a scarcity issue with the game. It's not trying to be... A lot of the weapon degradation game that use weapon degradation and breaking in games use it to cause scarcity. Mm-hmm. So you're like, oh, should I really be using this or not?
Right.
That's not what this game uses it for. This game just uses it for you're churning through stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's fun because you get to try, like... I've tried so many different styles of weapons that I don't normally like. Like, I usually just like a sword. But then I was using spears and boomerangs and
sticks. The game is built around using what's available to you. Like, the whole... Which goes back to forcing the exploration point, which the game is about exploration and discovery. So it feels like every mechanic in the game pushes back to those core concepts, especially of exploration.
Right.
Because you're like, oh, I'm running low on weapons. Well, I can just go explore off in this area, and I'm sure I'll find something.
Yeah. The way that the order that you did the initial shrines was different than how I did it. So when you finished up with the cold shrine or whatever.
No, it wasn't the cold one.
The one up in the mountains, right? Because
it was, yes.
What did you get in that one? Was it Cryonis?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Cryosis,
yeah. So when he finished it, I was telling him to go up to the top of Mount Hylia because there was something up there to get. Because that's where I got it.
And I went up there.
And there was nothing. Oh, was there anything at all?
No.
Yeah.
No, there was like something I could grit on the ground. It was nothing.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It was like a piece of amber. It was amber.
Oh, yeah, a piece of amber. You're like, well, you had any climbers to get a piece of amber? But when I did, I got a warm doublet, basically. And that wasn't available because you did it in a different order.
Because I was done with the shrines. You have to do it beforehand. You're not blocked. I've now found where I can buy
You bought one, yeah.
I haven't bought it, but...
Oh, okay.
But it's not expensive, and you totally could just go buy it. But it was an unexpected... That was the first time I feel like it really deviated from your gameplay. Where it's like, you're like, why isn't there something here? I'm telling... No. Okay.
Because I use that thing all the time.
Yeah, I can totally see using it all the time.
But there's actually, in that first section, there's a cabin where the old man lives, his house. So you go in and you find something. I won't tell you what it is, but... And then you do this thing for him, and then he gives you it anyways. So there's 2 ways to get it up there.
Okay.
That's the other way you can get it for free. But I don't know where his cabin is. I've never found it. I haven't really explored in that area except for getting the shrines, and I just jumped out the plateau and didn't really come back.
I mean, I walked around some, but I'm pretty sure there's stuff up there that I still haven't found or...
Yeah, I think we both unlocked about the same amount of the map. Maybe I have like one more state or one more region or whatever unlocked than you, but even though we've unlocked those areas, the amount that we've explored in that area is very little.
You've explored 30 more hours into those areas than I have.
That's true, yeah. But I still feel like I barely scratched the surface.
Yeah. I've kind of focused a little bit on towers now. Mm-hmm. Like, there's just a draw for me. If I see a tower in the distance, I want to go get the tower and complete the map. So, but I know every time I do that I'm only seeing such a little bit of what's actually in the area. Right. And it's a pretty crazy idea, the fact that the map doesn't, it shows you geography, but nothing else once you explore. And it's like, no, You want to go find stuff. There's nothing, and there's no compass. There's no anything. It's just like, go find it in the world, and if you want to mark it, you can mark it yourself on the map. But,
there's no dot like, okay, I'm just going to go toward that.
Well, like Skyrim, you have your compass, and it's like, oh, there's a mine off this way. Right. There's a town off this way, a cottage off this way, and you can just rotate around. And you can see what you're close to. Yeah, there's none of that here. You just...
I even think about the Witcher mini map, where it would show you the exact path to get to your location, which I ended up turning off because I would just stare at the mini map instead of the world. I'm glad it doesn't have any of that. You just get to the top of the tower or top of a mountain, and you just map out where you want to go. There's a glowing orange thing. I think that's a shrine. Let's go that way. Yeah. And, I mean, for 35 hours I've done one dungeon. I just finished that. And 22 shrines, I think. I still have 100 shrines to go. And 850 Korok seeds or whatever it is.
Yeah.
845. It's crazy.
It is a crazy game. I am shocked at how well this game turned out. I mean, Nintendo has quality and has shown that they can do stuff like this before. It's just been a while since they've truly shown like, no, let's show you how you do a genre.
Right. Yeah. And
so guys, Bethesda, you're doing this stuff, and like,
let me show you how to really do it.
Like, here's open world, and I felt like the exploration in this beats Skyrim hands down.
Yeah.
Like, Skyrim is a game about exploration. Fallout's are games about exploration.
Right. But
Breath of the Wild is just better. It's flat out just a better game for giving the sense of exploration.
And what do you think makes it better?
It's pulling back a bit. It's pulling out the map stuff. It's putting... Weirdly, like when I was saying that all the design decisions push back to exploration, where I feel like Skyrim and stuff deviate from that a bit. Like they start... Not all the systems are about exploration. There's a lot of systems that are just about like... Hey, look at my hundreds of quests that I have to do and stuff like that. They try to, in some ways, guide your experience. Like, pick from the quest that you want to do and go do it.
Right.
Zelda has some side quests. I've got like 3 now.
I have like 15 right now.
But it doesn't really push you at them.
No, if you never looked at your side quest thing again, you could.
And it doesn't have on the map. It's just like, and it's kind of vague a lot of, like, some of the side quests the 2 that I know I have are very vague. Yeah. And like, they're like, go, one of this, like, there's some poem that I'm like, I don't know what that actually means, and it's not telling me where to go. No. So it's like, I guess I will come across this at some point.
Yeah, you have to figure out the riddles. Like, there's one, it's a shrine quest. I love the shrine quests. It's like, to get to the shrine is just a puzzle in the overworld. And it was like, something to raise the throne, mount the animal who's wearing a crown of bone. And there's like a bunch of mooses around. You gotta jump on them, or deer actually is what it is, and tame them, and then get them onto the pedestal. It took me like half an hour to finally like get one, tame one. I needed that stealth armor that you were talking about. And I got it right to the edge of the pedestal, and it was like a really cool shot. So I like was lining it up to get a screenshot, and I didn't realize that it was going to run away. So right before I got on the pedestal, I was taking the screenshots, and then it just bolted. It like kicked me off and ran away. I was this far from defeating that, and I couldn't get another one. So that was the first shrine quest or riddle kind of side quest that I found.
And the game is pretty, and that's the thing where it pushes to exploration. They're not handing you the solution. Like, the shrines at the Force 4 are pretty standard.
Yeah.
Then you start getting shrines like, there's some shrines you just walk up to. And then there's the shrine by the first stable, where you have to be across the river, climb up this giant thing, get on top of a box, and jump off and paraglide into it.
Right.
But it's not hard.
Yeah.
Like, you look around the environment, it's like, oh, I need to go over there and do that. But they start mixing it up. And they require exploration and discovery to even do the most basic tasks. Going up the towers is different every time.
Right.
Like, it's not just go find the tower, go up it.
Right.
Like in Assassin's Creed, go find the high spot, like, do it, and pretty much doesn't deviate in Assassin's Creed. It's the same thing over and over. The building might be different. The path that you have to get up there might be different.
But they don't introduce some sort of puzzle to get up.
No, in this one, there are puzzles to get up. There's some pretty, like... We can have spoilers on this one. The tower more towards the central tower that has the Guardians.
The Guardians.
That was intense. That was super nerve-wracking and to get up, and it's like the fourth tower I had done.
Yeah, you're basically trying to avoid their lasers to get up. I kept asking myself, I must be here too early. Like, I don't think I should be here, but I was like, let's just try and see. And then I was able to do it. There was that one, I don't know where it was exactly, probably in the west, where it's like shrouded in thorns.
Yeah, and I didn't burn them, but I still was able to get up.
And you got up there. But I ran like half a kilometer away, put fire in my torch, came back, and then lit a fire, and then started shooting fire arrows and burning everything down. So there's just so many ways you can do it. And then you did the infamous ball puzzle.
I did, and I did it the way it was supposed to be done.
Yeah.
Because, wow, that was miserable.
So what was the solution that you found? Did you flip it upside down like the last?
Nope, I did it the normal way, but I found that if you held it not basically straight up, but slightly tilted, the ball would fall into the final chute that it needs to, the ramp area. So I could just quickly drop it in there, flatten back out, and give myself an attempt at.
So you basically do this, or I guess I'm leaning it down, and then when it gets to the end, you flip it up,
and flick it up,
you catapult it.
Yep, and just enough, and it landed.
Oh, okay.
It only took me like 2 tries after I did that.
Yeah, it was crazy because the way that I did it was I floated over there, put stasis on the ball, hit it with a stick or whatever, and then it just shot right onto the ramp. And turns out that was dumb fucking luck.
It is dumb luck. Because that was not going to happen for me. I tried it a couple times, and that was not... And yeah, it is annoying. And the only reason that puzzle is annoying, it's not really the physics of the ball, it's just the perspective that you're viewing that platform at.
Yeah.
Doesn't match up to how you need to be holding, how you think you should be holding the Wii U gamepad or the Switch.
Right.
Like, it's... Something about the perspective just makes it so, like, if you think it's flat and rotated right, it actually is, like, tipped back slightly and things are rolling the wrong direction. So,
well, on the Wii U, you have to, like, put down the Pro Controller, pick up the gamepad.
Yep.
And that's weird.
It is a super weird thing. I get what they're trying. They're like, oh, look we can use physics and do this marble. They probably should have just removed it. It's not that great of a... That's probably the weakest one.
It definitely didn't have... It was frustrating and not, like, in a good way.
Yeah, because you're fighting the control. Like,
yeah,
you're not solving a puzzle. You know the puzzle.
Yeah,
like that's you immediately see it and you're like, yep, know exactly what I need to do here.
Right. And then the control
execution is just not good.
I guess the one thing that I really got frustrated on the game was, and you were here to observe it, was I kept dying in the dungeon. I'd like solve a piece of the puzzle and I'd die and I had to do the whole thing over. But because I had to keep doing the whole thing over, it's like I do with my students where they make a mistake and they have to go through the whole thing again and then get to the part where they made a mistake and then they move on. And then they make another mistake and they come back and do the whole thing all over again. So by the time they keep doing this cycle over and over again...
Isn't that where you figured it out that you were doing it wrong in the first place? Because there was one point you were super frustrated, a stealth section.
Oh yeah, that was earlier.
You were super frustrated and then you realized, oh, I'm making this way harder.
Yeah, no, I was making it way harder for myself and I realized what I was supposed to be doing. So you keep... But back to the original point, like by the time you have cycled through it like 10 or 15 times, like the beginning part that was so hard to you is just easy because you've done it so many times. And it's just the way that people learn. It's great. But that stealth section, the way that the dungeon works, like you get a quest before the quest before the quest to even get to the dungeon. Like this, it turns into this huge, like really engaging thing. But the stealth section, I just sucked at, and I kept making it harder for myself until I realized what I needed to be doing. And it involves bananas, and that was very interesting.
I see.
That first dungeon blew my mind. It was really, really cool. So,
briefly, what I looked over and saw, like it seemed like it was a pretty ingenious design.
It really was. Like it's just you're basically in a room, and then you end up opening up a second room, and it's just the way that it spins things around these cylinders and changes the layout of the room. It was brilliant.
That's good to know. And hopefully, all the other ones are at that same level. I
kind of want to get over there and try the other ones, but then once I beat the 4, then that's it. That kind of sucks because that was a really magical experience. So at least there are 3 more to do.
There are 3 more to do. Or maybe who knows? I haven't been spoiled to know exactly what the progression of the story is. So.
You have, you know?
No, I don't.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Well, I know the expansion pass has another dungeon coming, and then a hard mode, which I don't know what the hell hard mode would be. Like stronger.
I assume it's stronger enemies and like.
I was hoping it'd be more than that. I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows? This is something to know in this game. Maybe they'll actually do stuff where they'll change enemy attack patterns and things like that to just make it like, they attacked faster. And you need to be more on your parries and blocks than just trying to charge in.
Yeah, and I haven't really used that flurry attack.
You saw me do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I want to do that more. That thing's awesome.
But you're shielding, right?
Shielding, because you can...
Back and then B?
Yeah.
Back and jump?
Back and jump to do it right if you do a perfect dodge, or back and A and do a perfect parry.
Okay.
You can do it with parries.
The shield?
Yeah, you can do a perfect parry and get flurry as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, I did it by accident at first. Like, before there's a shrine that teaches this to you.
Right.
But before that, I did it once by accident and was like, I have no clue what's going on, but it tells me to hit Y. Okay.
Yeah, I'll do it. You also had an experience. You found one of the memories, which I haven't found any of those
I did
yet.
find one of the memories, and I'm really intrigued to find more of them.
Yeah. So the way that you found it, like you just looked at the picture and then knew where you were?
I roughly had an idea of like, I'm like, oh, when I was running out to Kakariko, where I first came off the plateau, was in those trees.
Yeah.
And that's the only place I had seen those trees. So I went back to the plateau and where I jumped off and jumped off again.
Okay.
And then ran around there trying to find it. Didn't find it initially, but went to the tower because I wanted and that's when I did the central tower. And from there, then jumped off that tower back towards the lake. And as I was approaching the lake from that direction, I saw I saw the highlight on the ground.
Oh, so you saw that?
Yeah, I saw roughly. I saw the hill in the picture,
right.
Like the little thing. I was like, okay, it's over there. And then once I got close, there was a highlighted spot on the ground where you just go to and you interact with a highlighted spot and you get a memory.
That's cool.
So it's not, you don't have to take the same picture. You don't have to like.
You just need
to know where the area is.
Yeah,
you just need to find the area. So
I like that memory. It was cool to see it because I haven't done it on my game yet, but it was cool to see you do it.
It clearly is going to show a lot of the interaction between Link and Zelda and like what built to what happened 100 years ago in the game.
Yeah. Well, and you said that this Zelda is a different Zelda than we've seen before.
I do. She seems way more in charge. Like she's the one calling the shots on this war, and so spoiler, it was just said close to the beginning. Like this game takes place 100 years after some cataclysmic event has happened in the world, where Calamity Ganon is now reemerged, controls Hyrule Castle, has decimated the countryside, and it clearly 100 years ago was Zelda leading the charge of like putting together the army and the champions to fight Ganon.
Right.
So you're kind of learning what went wrong.
Yeah.
So I do think she's I don't think we'll be playing as her though. Like it doesn't seem like that's how the story is meant to go. You are playing Link. Link is the fill-in for the audience because he doesn't have memories.
Right. He doesn't have a voice either.
It doesn't have a voice. He is the audience perspective.
Right.
So maybe there'll be a section you play as Zelda. Maybe they won't break that. Maybe there'll be a expansion pass.
I think the expansion maybe.
Yeah, but I don't think you're meant to play as her
at
all, which is fine. The fact that they're just making her more of a central part of like. It doesn't even seem like damsel in distress. It definitely doesn't even seem like damsel in distress, even now when you're trying to search her out.
Like fighting Ganon right now in the castle.
Yeah, or like something like her essence or whatever has been holding off Ganon for 100 years. Like keeping him somewhat at bay so we can't just destroy everything.
Right.
So that's all part of the story I want to learn more of, like what's going on. She's not the one to be saved so much.
Yeah.
As it feels like Link, you're trying to just reconnect and be like, okay.
It's like you're trying to catch
up.
Us
together are going to do this.
That's right.
The prophecy is the princess and the hero work together to take down Ganon.
Which was when I got to the end of the Wind Waker, where I forget what she's throwing something at you and you have to like reflect it back to Ganon or whatever. That fight really
Tetra.
Yeah. Put that idea into force.
Yeah. So I feel like this game reinforces that quite a bit. The character designs, as I look at the amiibo, are awesome.
Yeah, we went looking around for. You got the Link amiibo today, but the Zelda
I still want the Zelda one.
Zelda one's really awesome. We went to Toys R Us looking for stuff.
I'm kind of surprised how much they actually had.
Yeah,
I mean they didn't have the Breath of the Wild ones are gone right now.
They're totally gone. So. Just had a couple of Link left, and that was about
which is fine.
Yeah,
I'll get the Zelda at some point.
I think maybe on Amazon you can get it. I got mine on Amazon.
Yeah.
So any negatives, things that kind of detract from you besides that ball puzzle from the game?
That was I've mentioned there's a couple places mechanically, like quality of life stuff that has bugged me with inventory management.
Yeah.
Like trying to open a chest and it's going to give you, let's say, a new sword or weapon, but your weapon inventory is full. You can't just swap it there. You have to cancel out of the chest, go into your inventory, drop a weapon, then open the chest again.
Right.
And I feel like it's just a missed thing that there could be a quick option whenever you're opening the chest to say, no, let's just, from there, just drop something and pick this up instead.
Yeah.
Like, there's just a couple little things like that. A hot button for eating would be great.
Oh, yeah.
Sometime.
Is that going into your inventory?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. Because like on Witcher, you can just push the button and
eat something.
Yeah. They have to go in. But at least it's convenient when you pause it, everything pauses, and then you can just eat from there. You don't have to like select eating, come out of it, and then the eat animation or whatever is just instantaneous.
So I think it works great that way. It was just more of a like, why do I need to go to my inventory like this?
Yeah.
Switching between your bow out and your sword out.
Yeah.
Like if you're on swords, you have to go fully inventory. Like there's definitely something where I'm like, this part, as a developer, this clearly is stuff probably they knew about, but it's never, what they have works well enough and isn't too frustrating or anything. It doesn't really hinder playing the game. It's just somewhat of a slight annoyance every once in a while. So I bet this never made it high enough priority for fixing compared to probably other major problems in the game. They're like, no, we have to fix this because it's a quest blocker or you can fall through the world here. Or you can like...
Things they really needed to fix.
Yeah. Because I would say like, I haven't really encountered any bugs in my playthrough like that I would really call like...
I thought
like horrible. Like I haven't fallen through the world.
Right.
I haven't got stuck anywhere.
Yeah,
it's hard to get stuck because you can just climb.
Right. I thought there was a moment where there was a bug in the dungeon that I thought I was like, I figured out how to do this more easily, but it wasn't a bug; it was a feature.
This is how you're supposed to.
Yeah,
do it.
like it was. It basically made it so you had to manipulate the way that it worked to get it to work, and I was like, oh, that's really smart. Like, you just heard me making noises throughout the whole dungeon, like, oh wow, what the fuck.
Yeah.
And then the boss fight was really fun, although the boss fight was pretty easy.
You did it one
first
shot.
try. Yeah, but I kept eating throughout, so
yeah,
it was basically had like I probably used like 30 hearts, so that's a lot. I'm trying to go all stealth. Yeah. Anything else? I mean, I know we want to get back and play the game.
Yeah, I think that's all the like negatives I have right now. Are those? It's all been really positive. It's an incredibly frictionless game to just play.
Yeah.
And when I'm not playing it since yesterday, I just think about playing it. I think about what I want to do. It sticks with you. It's shockingly for how open the world is and how unscripted everything is, how much you just are constantly thinking. It sticks with you in your mind of like, oh, what's over there? Or I should go there. Like, what do I want to do next?
Do you think your kids will enjoy watching you play this one?
He'll love watching.
Yeah.
And her, too. Both of them will be like, I wonder if my daughter will want to be this Zelda for Halloween.
Yeah, maybe.
She's talked about being another Zelda for Halloween. Because she was Wind Waker Zelda.
Wind Waker, yeah.
Zelda last Halloween, and she was like, I want... Which Zelda did she want to be? I don't remember. She talked about being another Zelda this Halloween. I'm like, are we going to go through all the Zeldas?
Yeah, right. That's fun. That would be Tetra.
It's true. Well, I mean, she was.
Yeah.
She was in Zelda costuming, which was nice for my wife because that was a simple costume to make as opposed to Twilight Princess Zelda, which is a very intricate, detailed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited. This game's amazing.
Game of the Year candidate?
Game of the Year winner.
Yeah. I mean,
I have a hard time seeing. I mean, if a game is better than this year, great.
Yeah.
Everyone's better for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this is a game that comes along once in a decade.
Yeah. Right.
You just play like games aren't typically this good.
Yeah. This is a game, 35 hours in, this is easily better than The Witcher for me. Like, I just love this game more than The Witcher, and I love that game. This is easily probably best game I've ever played. Like, just by far.
I'm not going that far yet because I need to play more of it, but
yeah.
If it keeps up with my 6 or 7 total hours I put into it so far, and if it just stays at this quality for the entire thing, it's going to be a top 5 easily.
Right. Imagine if Nintendo did to Metroid what they did with Zelda here. Like, break
It'd
it down.
It'd be amazing. They just have to care.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Sorry to get your hopes up.
And I would think it would be incredible. I mean, it's basically what they did when they did Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
They were just like, let's throw out doing a 2... Let's do a 3D Metroid. Let's translate that gameplay. And they went back to basics because they had to. Because it wasn't a 2D exploration thing. They're like, okay, we got to do this in 3D.
Right.
What is Metroid at its core?
Right.
Put that in there. And then make really good... typically was really good controls, and focus on exploration and discovery.
Yep, and that's what this game nails. So.
And I feel like Metroid needs to go back to that again. They need to just jettison a bunch of there's a lot of baggage, and just get rid of it and go back to that core concept again and build up again there. Maybe they'll learn from this is teaching them that they need to do this.
Yeah, I hope they learn from it. I think that if this is it's the last game on Wii U and the first game on Switch. If this is the first thing that's really on Switch, I think it speaks well for what's coming next. The Mario game this fall has got to be just as good.
I hope so.
They've been working on it for a really long time, so.
I mean, it's the successor to the Galaxy games and Mario 64.
And Mario 64.
That style, so.
Right, but if they went back to, what made Zelda really good, they go back to what made Mario really good, in a 3D space at least, this might be a good generation.
Nintendo's bringing what they have fully. The Zelda game definitely is I actually am really sad because I'm I don't know if I want them to do another Zelda game. I actually worry that they've truly set the bar so high on this that even they will have almost an impossible time reaching this again.
I don't know, man.
Because it's been so long since they reached this.
Right.
Zelda game and I'm just even something as good is great, but expectations are going to be so high for anything.
Right. But even they just did it again, give us a couple of years, same assets, same engine, give us some a Dark World version of this or something. I don't know.
As you said, a Majora's Mask style.
Majora's Mask, exactly.
A side story,
That's
or
just keep telling me, keep releasing expansions, keep releasing a new state or a new region. I'll pay $20 for a new region in this game, every.
It's true.
6 months.
They've definitely built a game that I don't know how the story ends and what they can do with it.
Yeah.
They've built, if this can hold, a system that they could probably sustain for a good part of this console cycle on just the tail of this game, or doing expansions, or eventually just doing a sequel, or using the same engine and going and just building new design and being we're not going to try to beat this right now. And just go in different directions with different games and then come back to this eventually. But this is enough. I'm going to be playing this game and nothing else through the summer, through Baby. I consider it, I'm looking at it, I'm the small amount, even 7 hours in, that I've seen this is one of the biggest open worlds I've ever seen on a game.
You've played a sliver of it in 7 hours. That's crazy, too.
Yeah, it's tiny. And it's really intimidating in that way, and the fact that you're just wow, this world is full of so much.
Right. And it's all interesting. Every corner is something. It's not just the same thing over and over again. Even the Korok seeds, they change the way the puzzles change, how you get it. They're never the same.
There's weird stuff where I was listening to someone was talking about why. So it's the act of just climbing up something and jumping off of it is fun.
Yeah.
It never gets old.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
You get up to the top and you're let's look around, because once you get to high vistas, you can get really great views of where you want to go, and you see stuff in the distance. You're I'm just going to jump off and I'm going to glide that direction,
see how it goes.
And just go. And after 7 hours, this is not getting old. I look at mountains and go, I'm going to climb to the top of that one. Why? I don't know. And usually there's something up there. Yeah. And even if there's not anything up there, there's the view.
Right.
And the view is sometimes reward enough, which is bizarre to say that.
Yeah, it looks really good.
You're I don't care if there's a chest up there. It's going to be up high, and then I can jump off and glide.
Yeah, as long as you have enough, stamina or cold resist or heat resist or whatever it is. Like, you can go anywhere, and I really think this is a great game just to keep upping your stamina. And then, you know, the hearts, you can cook stuff to get extra hearts or whatever, and when you beat the dungeons, you get a heart, but I feel like more stamina is better for this
Gives you the traversal.
You can float further, you can climb higher.
Go.
Yeah, swim further. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't have many problems with this game at all. Like, it's all nitpicky stuff. I'm like, yeah, I see why this gets 10 out of 10 in a lot of places. Is it a perfect game? It's hard to say if it's perfect enough. Yeah. No art is perfect. There's always going to be flaws to it. And I don't believe anything that's a 10 out of 10 is considered perfect. I would never use that term, but this is classic. Yeah. Like, this is going to be an important game for a long time.
Well, it's a game that people are going to look back to 10 years from now. Like, people look back to Ocarina, people look back to 64, people look back to Skyrim.
I still play Ocarina now, and it does not hold up nearly as...
it
doesn't hold up nearly... Again, it's like playing Final Fantasy VII now.
Yeah,
people hold this stuff up, but that time in gaming was really awkward for 3D games.
Right.
Like, Ocarina of Time did a lot of really correct stuff, and iterated on the Zelda formula greatly, and was easy-ish to control. But we've come a long way in 20 years.
Yeah, I played like 3 or 4 hours on my 3DS, and I was like, like, this one dungeon was just like really awkward to control the camera.
Yeah, and it's not a knock against it. It's for its time, it was amazing.
Right,
but things move on.
Yep.
So
I think it's hard to go back to Zelda games after this, perhaps.
I think so. Yeah. We talked. It's similar to Wind Waker in some ways. Mm-hmm. Wind Waker is the last Zelda game that had this level of exploration. Yeah. And not even close to the level of Breath of the Wild, but you can see the resemblance. You can see that, Wind Waker was a game that once you have your boat,
go anywhere you want.
We're not going to stop you from trying to go find all these little islands, and you might get to it and realize I can't do anything here yet. But,
at least you can get there.
Yeah.
So that's our Breath of the Wild discussion.
Yeah.
Anything else to add before you get back and start playing?
Don't think so. What do we estimate how many copies they sold? On the Switch.
It's a 90% attach rate on the Switch. So we said 1.35.
Yeah, 1.5 million total
Switches. So 1.35 million copies of Breath of the Wild just on Switch. So who knows how many on Wii U. And they would have sold more on the Switch if they had more Switches to sell, I think. So
probably. 13 million Wii U's. And you have to imagine that a good chunk of those bought Zelda. So this probably... I will say, my guess is 3 or 4 million copies.
Between both?
Between both.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Immediately. And I bet with all this buzz coming out of it, it's going to be a very, very big seller.
Yeah, it's going to sell throughout the whole year, especially when people pick up their...
Holiday? This game is going to be huge in the holiday.
That's right.
People getting Switches for the holiday, and they'll get this game. Yeah. Anyone getting a Switch is getting this game.
Yeah.
Like the meme. This is a $360 Zelda game.
Yeah. I mean... For those of us Wii U's, I mean, I guess I had a Wii U and I fucking bought a Switch anyways, but I bought the Switch for the Switch, not for Zelda. But yeah, everyone needs to play it.
I do. I agree.
Every gamer. So, all right, that's episode 77 of Prof and Dev Play Games. Thanks for hanging out with our discussion here, and we're going to get back and play the game. So we'll see you.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. We'll see you next week, folks.
Later.